Good morning, this is Jim Wright with Georgia Waterfalls, and I am here at Lost Wall Falls in northwest Georgia. I'm in the extreme northwest corner of the state at the Crockford Pigeon Mountain WMA. So enjoy this adventure as we go on this short hike to see a truly phenomenal waterfall. Just driving up to this location has been amazing with all the rock formations and fallen rocks everywhere. I saw like 3 waterfalls on the way up here. So let's enjoy this location and let's go explore.
Falling water captivates us. We are drawn to it. I have been drawn to it ever since I was young. I've been amazed by its power and peace, its quiet trickle in the cove, and its mighty roar that blocks out all other sound. Its chaos in the stillness of nature. So please follow me into the forest and on gravel roads as we explore the waterfalls of Georgia in a unique way. Georgia on Location Waterfalls will be a guiding video series that will use aerial photography, logistics, and my experiences to tell the story of a waterfall. So let's hit the trail and explore. Today's episode of Georgia Waterfalls takes us to the rocky outcrops of Pigeon Mountain, which is about 6 miles west of the northwestern Georgia town of Lafayette. Local townspeople could help me with the correct pronunciation. I broke this up into many parts because there's so much to see and do on this amazing mountain, and I only had time to do a few things. I have been on many hikes, paddles, and adventures in the woods, but Pigeon Mountain has been the most fun I have had. I want to keep coming back because there's so much to do here and so many waterfalls to see. Pigeon Mountain is one of Georgia's most interesting outdoor places. Northwest Georgia, for that matter, is interesting and drastically different from the Blue Ridge region, which I'm accustomed to in the northeast part of the state. Northwest Georgia is in the Cumberland Plateau, also called the Appalachian Plateau, which are narrow, flat-top mountains that have long, wide valleys in between and are composed of limestone and sandstone rock. Pigeon Mountain, along with its westward neighbor of Lookout Mountain, is an outdoor enthusiast paradise. You can hike, paddle its steep creeks, see waterfalls, climb, and go below the surface and cave. However, for today's episode, we're going to focus on 3 waterfalls on Pigeon Mountain. Lost Wall Falls, which is on the eastern slopes of the mountain, Pocket Falls, which is on the western edge of the mountain, and a roadside one that I call Highway 193 Falls, because it is right beside the highway. So let's go to our first waterfall, Lost Wall Falls. From the intersection of Georgia 193 North and US 27 Business, take 193 North for 2.8 miles. Turn left onto Chamberlain Road, drive 3.4 miles, and turn right onto Rocky Lane into Crockford Pigeon Mountain WMA. Continue for 1.8 miles, and at the 5th switchback, arrive at the small parking area on the left. Make sure you buy a Georgia Lands Pass for $30 for a year. I will link the website in the description below. It is well worth it because you can use this at a number of places throughout Georgia. Also, the day I went, the DNR officer was waiting for me and another car to see if we had our pass. I did, they didn't, and the fine is $120, so I would just pay the $30 and not have to worry about it. There will be a trail to the right of the kiosk. Go 0.15 mile on a fairly flat trail with a few rocky places. Enjoy the bluffs of Lost Wall and all the surrounding boulders that sprinkle the landscape. If it is wintertime and the water is flowing, you can hike Dixon Creek from the bottom of the mountain to the top and see a lot of rapids and waterfalls. I will try this next time. You could start at the first switchback and make your way up the creek and beyond if you are adventurous. When I drove up past Lost Wall Falls, I saw and heard a number of cascades on Dixon Creek. So if you are driving a good distance like I did, that could be a very good way to extend your visit if you're just seeing this waterfall.
For our waterfalls today, and most likely most waterfalls in northwest Georgia, I would recommend seeing them in the winter or spring because you stand a better chance of seeing them with water. I went just after a deluge of water and it didn't disappoint. The whole mountain and all the falls I saw there were flowing super well. It truly made this day a magical experience. Lost Wall Falls is a 70-foot free-falling waterfall that has a cavern behind the falls, so you can get behind the falls view and has a huge rock bluff across its whole face. You could also see water falling down the back of the wall inside of this little grotto. Eventually this will carve out an arch and the waterfall will move back and fall behind the arch.
So this is one of these perfect examples of the Appalachian Plateau, its rock formations, its geology. I kind of like to equate it out to Swiss cheese. The limestone's a soft rock, and over the millions of years, the water has carved holes into the rock. And this is a perfect example. I'm in a little cave grotto, if you will, and you can see, because of the rain we've had recently, that rain is running because it goes to the lowest spot. Well, it's running through these caverns and caves in the rock, and it's finding a place to go lower. So we have a little waterfall right here coming right out of the rock. Okay, so Appalachian Plateau is a phenomenal place. This whole area at the Lost Wall is just littered with huge boulders. And you have waterfalls, you have caverns, and you have caves. This is Jim Wright with Georgia Waterfalls. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Pocket Falls is on the western side of Pigeon Mountain and is famous for its wildflowers that bloom in the spring. It is nestled in a cove where the rock walls are nearly vertical and come to a V at the falls. This one is more limestone than sandstone, so you see some different geological formations than at Lost Wall, which is higher up and on the east side of the mountain, and it has more sandstone than limestone. For example, more rock is eroded away, creating holes or pockets in the rock. There is even a cave in between the two waterfalls. It has more calcium deposits, which makes the water look more white with hints of an emerald green. From leaving the kiosk at Lost Wall Falls, go 1.8 miles back on Rocky Lane, down the mountain, turn left onto Chamberlain Road. Go 3.4 miles and turn left onto Highway 193. You will begin to climb Pigeon Mountain, and in 3.2 miles on Georgia Highway 193 Falls will be on your left. Stop at the parking lot and view. This waterfall is a classic northwestern Georgia stair-step waterfall. I'm sure there is a geological explanation for this. Maybe the soft rock makes it into stair steps. I don't know. I'm not very sure. The visual part of this waterfall is about 20 feet from what you can see from the parking area. But what you're going to see is that this waterfall extends up the mountain a good ways. It appears to at least partially begin as a pulled up spring. You'll see in the video that the creek keeps going upstream, but most of the water is coming out of the spring. Enjoy Highway 193 Falls. Leave here and continue down the mountain, and in 0.4 mile you will see a gated road on the right. Park off to the side of the gate and you can see the Tag Railroad Tunnel. Please see the video link in the description for that. The Tag Railroad Tunnel is a must-see if you're in the area. From here, drive 2.1 miles to Davis Crossroads, turn left on the Hogjowl Road, stay on Hogjowl Road for 2.7 miles, turn left onto Pocket Road, and drive 1.2 miles to the parking at the end of the road. Three trails begin here at Pocket Falls Wildlife Area. On the north end of the parking lot is the Estelle Mines Trail, and on the south end we have the Pocket Loop, which is a gated road,
And then finally we have the Shirley Miller Wildflower Trail at the south end. We want to take this trail to Pocket Falls. This is a 0.4 mile out and back trip. In about 300 feet you will cross Pocket Creek over a footbridge onto a boardwalk. Please stay on the boardwalk and proceed upstream to Pocket Falls in 0.2 mile. The trail will parallel the creek after the 800-foot boardwalk. Pocket Falls is a 50-foot, two-tiered waterfall that has steps at the bottom of it. One tier is more of a free fall, and the second tier is a narrow chute that splits the waterfall again. There is a cave in between the two falls, but I wasn't able to get to it because of the abundance of water.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Jim Wright with Georgia Waterfalls, and I am at Pocket Falls, which is an extremely noisy waterfall today. Last night's rains have really sent this dry waterfall roaring. On top of that, I'm in kind of a bowl, so the sound just kind of echoes all around. This is an awesome waterfall in Northwest Georgia. So I'm going to talk about it for a few moments. Enjoy the footage of Pocket Falls. Once again, this is Jim Wright with Georgia Waterfalls. Hope you've enjoyed a little slice of Northwest Georgia. More is to come. Let's get out there and explore. Have a great day.